While football fans can look forward to more primetime home games next year after a season dominated by Sunday afternoon fixtures. Between them, West Coast and Fremantle will play the final game of the round in more than half of the 23 rounds this season. With each club to play 8 of 12 home games on a Sunday, their fans are eager for some variety. They made their feelings known through 7 West Media's Ultimate Footy survey, a snapshot of WA's views on the state of the AFL. More than 10,000 people completed the survey and 3/4 of them nominated Saturday as their preferred game day. AFL spokesman Patrick Keane said 2018 fixtures were hamstrung by delays in the construction of the Optus Stadium footbridge. The AFL wasn't able to consider Thursday or Friday night games in the early part of the season because the footbridge was not yet completed. Mr. Keane said, "The AFL's intention is to have a much more even spread of WA team games across our major slots of Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sundays." Dockers chief executive Steve Rosich said the club's top pick was Saturday night. "Attendance is always strong and the atmosphere of the new stadium really lends itself to night footy," he said. Sandgropers gave Optus Stadium an overwhelming endorsement. Only 1 in 20 said they preferred Subiaco Oval. West Coast members Steve and Jen Graham are off to the grand final this year after claiming the survey's major prize. Not a bad year for it. Apart from an extra bus leg from their home in Wellard, the Grahams can hardly fault the new stadium. "Atmosphere's a big thing for me," Mr. Graham said. "It's chalk and cheese compared to Subi, as the rest of the football world admires the venue and the noise generated inside." West Australians have called on the AFL to scrap the contract which would keep the grand final at the MCG until 2057. 2/3 of respondents said the grand final of the national competition should not be confined to one city. But traditionalists made their voices heard, too. 1/3 backed the AFL's new contract and more than 60% dismissed the idea of a twilight or night grand final. That division was reflected by the Grahams, who disagreed on holding the grand final interstate. "I think the history is part of it, but the MCG," Mrs. Graham said. Quote, "I just think you'd be messing with that. I don't think it would have the same feel." Mr. Keane said the MCG was the spiritual home of the AFL. "The discussion about whether the grand final may ever be played at another venue will be one for long after this administration," he said. The fans panned the 7-a-side AFL-X, with 70% suggesting the league drop the new format. Mr. Rosich said the club supported AFL-X because it provided a second big hit out before the regular season. On price, 73% said going to the football was too expensive. Mr. Keane said the AFL spoke to venues about pricing. He said fans had the right to take their own refreshments.